program.
Discover a world of knowledge at the Adams County Library, with many different genres of books and movies, as well as activities for every time of the year. They are open Monday through Thursday and are located at 103 6th Street North in Hettinger, North Dakota. You can also call them at 701-567-2741.
Start your movie night at the Hettinger Theater with fresh popcorn, perfectly seasoned with your choice of butter and unique salt options. Sip on a cold, refreshing beverage from our soda fountain and indulge in your favorite candy or chocolates to complete the experience. With a clean theater, friendly staff, and comfy chairs, the Hettinger Theater is your go-to spot for a fun night of entertainment.
KB Jewelers has proudly served Hettinger since 1977. Explore our large selection of books from thrilling mysteries to inspiring Christian titles. We also offer an extensive jewelry collection, candles, and especially unique gifts. Whether shopping for someone special or treating yourself, you'll find something perfect here. Visit KB Jewelers, the place with the nice things, here on Main Street in Hettinger.
For top-notch golf car rentals, sales, repairs, and service in Spearfish, head over to Northern Hills Golf Cart, where they specialize in providing reliable solutions for your all golf cart needs. From easy rentals to expert repairs and service, where you can count on them to keep you rolling. By visiting hannahgolfcares.com or giving them a call. 605-645-2808.
We would like to take this moment to express our sincere gratitude to the businesses in the area for their committed support of our live streaming program. Your contributions have been truly invaluable, and we want to emphasize just how essential they have been to the success of the HBS Stream Team. These businesses have given our students a new place to learn skills and shine as the bright individuals they truly are. Their support has created a valuable service to our community, parents, and family members near or far. So thank you, businesses, for allowing us to strengthen our community through these live and recorded events. And if you enjoy having live broadcasts such as this, we strongly encourage you to give back by supporting these businesses. They are the lifeblood of our community, and we are immensely privileged to have them as our partners. Thank you.
The HBS Stream Team is a school-to-work program in which students in grades 7 through 12 gain real-world experience while learning about the basics of live broadcasting and providing a service to our community. Now, let us take a moment to meet one of our members who help us make this possible.
Thanks for tuning in to another Streamer Spotlight, where you get to meet the streamers behind the mic tops, behind the laptops, behind the cameras, where you can meet who is responsible for making all these streams happen. And today we have with us Ellie Beth Henderson. Thank you so much for coming in and talking with us today.
Totally.
Awesome. So for those who don't know, you are Ellie Beth Henderson. You are how old?
I'm 13.
13, and you are currently in the 7th grade.
Yep.
And then hobbies and interests. What do you do in your free time? Who is Ellie Beth, basically?
Well, I live on a ranch, so I do a lot of ranch work, and I like to rodeo a lot and practice barrels.
Okay. So has that been like an all the time thing? Like you're always, like you've been doing that since you were little?
I've always lived on a ranch or a farm, but I've never had horses until the last year or two.
Oh, so this is like really recent. Was this kind of a thing where you were like, I really wanted it, and then finally you're like, you're old enough and now you can like take on the responsibility? And
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. So horses were a thing for a very long time.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Very, very cool. So as far as that, let's kind of revert back to Stream Team just a little bit. So you've been on the Stream Team only for like a couple months. You've been with us for about the fall season, just got started. And Allie Beth's been very, very helpful for the last, so I'd say about 3-4 months or so. Been somehow just keep showing up in streams randomly, helping out, filling in shifts, just being really, really helpful. So it's been really, really appreciative. So why did you join the Stream Team? Like, what is it that made you go, yeah, I'm going to do that?
Well, I kind of didn't want to be always busy with like going places to sports and stuff, but I still want to be active and doing something, and the Stream Team was a really good thing. Plus I had friends doing it, so I thought it'd be pretty cool to do.
So it's kind of like this medium. It allowed you to kind of still be a part of something, be involved, but maybe not at the level, you know, that maybe sports might ask you to be, or things like that. Okay. Very, very cool. So now that, because I believe you've done camera 1 and camera 2, I believe, and we're eventually going to get you to that producer role. So between the two, which one do you prefer?
I guess it just kind of depends on the stream, like which one it is. So
I bet if it's football, it's camera 2.
Yeah, it definitely is camera 2 for football, and then probably camera 1 for basketball.
Okay, gotcha.
And for volleyball.
Which, yeah, you just started doing quite a few of those, and we're going to be needing your help even more as the years go on. So you've been doing a very, very great job. Ellie Beth's been having a great attitude and getting us good quality streams and learning a lot too along the way. So that's been really, really great. So is there anything else that you'd like to share with us, Ellie Beth?
Just that it's really fun, and I'm glad you started the Stream Team.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. And now back to the rest of your broadcast.
If you or a loved one has had a recent accident, illness, or surgery, did you know that rehabilitation services are available right here, close to home?
Our West River Health Services Swing Bed is a certified program for extended care, providing both physical and occupational therapy.
Let our trained West River medical staff take excellent care of you while you receive the skilled therapy necessary for your rehabilitation process.
We are here for you, right here, right now.
The Rural Collective from the Hettinger Chamber of Commerce was created to support rural movers and shakers as they discover and create opportunities for personal enrichment, entrepreneurship, and regional connectedness. With state-of-the-art technology, convenient amenities, accessible parking, and modular furniture, it is more than ready for any meeting or event. Learn more at hettingernd.com/TRC.
Hey, Southwest North Dakota! We're members of the HPS Stream Team, a student-led live broadcasting program from Hettinger Public School. And we've got some exciting news.
That's right. The HPS Stream Team is teaming up with Consolidated Channel 18 to bring you all the Hettinger varsity action.
Catch previous broadcasts of football, volleyball, basketball, wrestling, and baseball every Sunday at 9 a.m. on Consolidated Channel 18.
Together, we're strengthening our community by bringing the excitement right to your screen.
Tune in and support your local teams
With the HPS Stream Team on Consolidated Channel 18.
At West River Insurance Agency, our commitment goes beyond insurance. Located in the heart of Hettinger, we pride ourselves on being an active part of the community. Our goal is to build lasting relationships and provide coverage that truly reflects the values of our community. When you choose us, you're not just getting an insurance policy, you're gaining a dedicated partner invested in your future. Trust us to safeguard your assets and contribute to a thriving community.
Stay tuned. Up next is our Nighthawk Sports Highlights, where we bring you the most exciting plays and standout moments from our latest games last week. Get ready for all the action happening right here and right now.
In this next segment, enjoy a trailer from one of our video production students. Each May, we celebrate their creativity at the annual Short Film Festival held at Hettinger Theater. To watch the full film and more, click the link in the description below. Enjoy!
This broadcast will resume shortly, but don't go. School news stories, streamer spotlight, Hawk Talk podcast.
Test 1, 2. Those of you still looking for seats, there's down on this side. It's open if you need some seats over on this side. Thank you.
Test. All right, good morning, everybody. First of all, I'd like to welcome Scranton students over here. Welcome, Scranton. Also, via HPS Stream Team, I'd like to welcome New England Public School. And with that, thank HPS for streaming this online for Brandon Saho's presentation today. I would like to thank West River Health Services, Ellie Corneely, Bethany Erickson. We have Tara Jorgensen here today and many others that are part of this, along with Hettinger Public School, bringing Brandon Saho into our school today. So thank you very much for that. We have a short video that we show, and then I will do the introduction for Brandon.
Basketball has been tumultuous. It's been a struggle. That ultimate accomplishment fades real quick, and it's about having a sense of purpose in your life that matters.
So don't be scared to ask for help. You're not alone. We're all in this fight together. But there's one thing we can all do. Let's break the stigma together.
Okay, he's a sports reporter who created the Mental Game podcast after his own battle with depression and suicide. He hosts emotional interviews with athletes, musicians, and celebrities to help break the stigma around mental health. The Mental Game guests include Terry Crews, The Office star Kate Flannery, rapper Kevin Gates, and many, many more. His mission is to save lives and impact conversations about depression, anxiety, and mental health. Everyone, please welcome Brandon Saho.
Thank you. That was official. All right, so you got the broadcasting voice. You should be taking my job. That was incredible. How you guys doing? We good? We're awake? We're out of class, so that part's good, right? Yeah? School's cool, just kidding. Thank you guys so much for having me today. I'm going to try to work the whole room, and then I know we're streaming this. Where's that camera? Is that this one? Cool. I just want to make sure I acknowledge everyone. Thank you guys so much for having me. I flew in last night from Los Angeles, California, and so a little bit different than LA, but I'm from Ohio. I've lived all over the country. I travel every week doing this, and so I love meeting new people, being in new places, and so I'm very, very excited to be here today. And what I want to do is take you through my story, the things that I've maybe struggled with in my own personal life with mental health, but also with my dream job, getting to work in the NFL and interview some of these celebrities and stars. But the thing that I've realized is that we all struggle. And I know that this community has been hit with losing people to our mental health and is struggling ourselves. So I just want to make sure you guys know that throughout today, this is a safe space to have a conversation and to just be open with each other. And I think you'll learn that through my vulnerability through this presentation. All right, here's the big test. Does the clicker work? It does. All right, so my show's called The Mental Game, so I use a lot of sports terminology, but here's our game plan for today. I want to take you through my story. Like I said, the things that I've experienced, that I've gone through, but then I also want to share winning strategies, things that have helped me when I was at my rock bottom and that I've learned from my own therapists, from mental health professionals that can help us when we're having a bad day or might be feeling some anxiety, depression. And then at the end, I want to give you guys a chance to ask me anything you want. Obviously, that doesn't get you in trouble here at school. Are the teachers and staff members mixed in with the kids? Because I love that. I'm looking around, I'm like, what grade are you two in? Like 14th, 15th grade maybe? Okay, awesome, I love this. This is so cool. All right, let's get into it. On the show, the first thing I ask every guest, like you saw in that video, the first question I ask every episode is, what does mental health mean to you? And the reason why I ask that is because that answer is different for each and every one of us. And I'll be honest, I didn't think about mental health until I hit my rock bottom. I'm gonna ask this just for the adults in the room and our 14th and 18th graders that are in the stands here. No kids, please no students, don't raise your hands. This is just for the adults. Please raise your hand if you were ever taught about mental health in school. If you're ever taught about mental health in school, just the adults in the room. I see 2 or 3 maybe, okay. So just to point that out, when I was growing up, when your parents and your grandparents were growing up, we didn't talk about this stuff. So it's all new for all of us. So the fact that you guys are in school right now having this conversation, you should be really proud of yourselves because we didn't know about this, we didn't talk about it. And so this question, I never knew how to answer when I was your age. But mental health, what it means to me, I know I just walked in front of the screen, what a dummy. What does mental health mean to me? It means loving yourself and being the best version of yourself. And I wasn't that person for most of my life. Really, I haven't been happy, truly happy until about the last year and a half, which is sad to say, but I want to take you through that journey now so you can see those ups, those downs, and how to find the answer to that question. Just think about that. What does mental health mean to you throughout this conversation today? All right, into my story. I'm about to share the most embarrassing photo of myself, maybe ever. This is me in high school. As a freshman in 2007. You guys were born in 2007? No? No? Anyone here born in 2007? All right, cool. Like, what are we, like our junior, senior class maybe? Sick. All right, I feel old. Anyway, that is me as a freshman at 14 years old thinking that I'm gonna be on ESPN. This is at a football game with like, I don't know, some crappy camera I got from the library, and I'm not obviously broadcasting to anyone, but I always show these 2 photos side by side because no matter what it is that you want to achieve, whether it's, school, career, athletics, whatever you put your mind to, there's 2 types of people in the world, the people that quit and the people that don't. And if you have a dream, you can do it. And so it still gives me goosebumps to look at these 2 pictures side by side and realize, dang, I did that. Like, I had that dream when I was 13 years old. I worked really, really hard, and I was able to get to be on TV and broadcast sports for a living. And so I always show these, especially when I'm at schools, to show you guys that whatever you want to do, you can do it. Again, it's just working hard towards those goals. But into the mental health piece of it, I had no idea that this was 2 weeks into my freshman year of high school in Cincinnati, Ohio. And I did not know that about 6 weeks later, my life would change forever. I never was taught about mental health like we just showed you, your parents, your grandparents, we didn't talk about this stuff. And so I didn't know what mental health meant. I didn't know what suicide meant. But the first time I had a suicidal thought, was at this football game. And it set the scene. You guys probably can't tell. I don't even know if you know what this is. But in my hand, that is a cell phone. That is a flip phone, which I know none of you have ever had. There was no Snapchat. There was no Instagram. There was MySpace. So I was on MySpace. I was the first group to really have cell phones. And this is me in the front row of the student section. About 20 minutes later, I will never forget what happened. I'm sitting there cheering on my team on a Friday night at the football game. And all of a sudden I look behind me and I see like a couple people on their phone looking at me, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I saw a couple more people passing around other phones. And by the time, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes go by, I look around and the whole student section is passing around phones, looking, laughing. And it just all hit me at once that I had an embarrassing photo that got sent around the whole school at that game. And I didn't want to deal with it. I felt alone. I was scared. I was embarrassed that I'd sent a photo to someone, they sent it to the whole school, and I went home that night, and that was the first time I thought, man, I don't know if I can live anymore. I don't know if I can deal with this. Like, everyone's going to make fun of me. It's going to be so bad at school. I'm never going to be able to get out of this sadness. And I'll be honest, it was really tough. Those next 2 to 3 months at school were awful. Everyone made fun of me. No one sat with me at lunch. I didn't get anyone to hang out with on the weekends. I went to a great school, but because we didn't talk about mental health, teachers, counselors, they knew what was going on, but no one said anything because you were taught to not talk about this stuff when we were younger. And I look back and I probably, unfortunately, was in this spot and wouldn't make it out without 2 friends. I'll never forget their names, Ryan and Pat. And they didn't ask, hey, Brandon, are you struggling with mental health? Are you depressed? Because again, we didn't know what that stuff meant. We didn't talk about it. But they held the door open for me. They sat with me at lunch when I had no one else. They called me to hang out on the weekend. And without Ryan and Pat, I'm very, very confident that I don't make it out of freshman year living. And it's sad to say that out loud, but it's true. And so sometimes you might not know what to say. You might not know everything about mental health. That's okay. But sometimes just holding that door for someone, sitting down and having lunch with them when they're sitting by themselves in the cafeteria, it can change their day and also change and possibly save their life. So please don't underestimate what a random act of kindness or just being there for someone can do. But in this moment, I had no idea that as a freshman in high school, this would be something that I would struggle with my entire life. And so that first thought of suicide came in 2007. And the last time I thought about taking my own life was 3 years ago. And so in between that time, this thought never went away. From being in high school, I went to college, I ended up, working in television. You work and move to a lot of different cities. You're working late nights, long hours. And what you see on TV is like all the fun stuff, but there's a lot of hard work that goes into it that's not so fun. And for me, I really struggled with this feeling of being alone. And it was ever since that moment in high school when that picture got sent around, I always felt like I was going to feel like this. Alone, no one was going to like me. I was always going to be different. And it really, really hurt my mental health. I'm not sure how it works here. It might be similar to my hometown in Ohio, but in where I'm from, everyone kind of marries their high school sweetheart. They stay in their city, they hang out with everyone, they have the family there, the big, beautiful house. That was my goal, that's what I wanted, but unfortunately, I was always the single friend. And so that took a big toll on my mental health. And so that ended up, having me turn to becoming, a big drinker. And drinking can obviously negatively impact your mental health. And so you use that to numb the pain, just like anything that's negative in your life. And so for me, I had the dream life that everyone thought they saw on the outside, but on the inside, I was really struggling my whole life and no one knew it. And so what I want to do is take you to my rock bottom. We have NFL fans here. Like, who's your guys' NFL team that you pay? Oh, a lot of hands. Who do you watch? Like, what's your favorite team? I heard Eagles, Panthers, Vikings. Okay, a lot of teams. I'm sure there's more. What's the closest big NFL city to here? Vikings? It is? Okay. They just kicked the Bengals' butt like 3 weeks ago. So thank you guys for that. I really loved that game. But so this is me working in the NFL. Just so you know, I'm from Cincinnati, but I had the chance to work for the Cincinnati Bengals for 5 seasons and get to be the sideline reporter. So this is the AFC Championship game. So if you win this, you go to the Super Bowl. And this is me on the pregame show, smiling on TV. And if you saw me smiling, you would think that everything's A-okay and that I'm happy, I'm doing okay. And in this moment, these 3 to 4 hours I will never forget the Bengals winning on a last-second field goal. I walk onto the field. The first person that walks past me crying is Travis Kelce because the Bengals just beat the Chiefs. I go to midfield, and the head coach of the Bengals gives me like a big hug at the 50-yard line like I was part of the team, which obviously I did nothing to help them win. If you guys know who star receiver Jamar Chase is, that's the first person that I interviewed. He's crying to me live on TV because he's going to the Super Bowl his first year in the NFL. There are thousands of Bengals fans in the stands. Just to put in perspective, I'm 32, which is, yes, old, but I've never seen any of my teams win anything ever. No championships my whole life. So like on a personal level, I'm going crazy. This is so cool. And so while people saw that on TV and thought that I was having the best moment of my life and that I was A-okay, 100% happy, this is what the real me looked like. And no one knew that I was at a rock bottom where for the last 3 to 4 months leading up to that game, I wanted to take my life every second of every day. I had lost 3 family members in those 3 months, including my cousin Ben. He was basically my older brother. He had a heart attack at 31 years old the day before that game and was supposed to be there with me. I had all this pressure on me at work, obviously, being on the biggest stage I've ever been on. And then I mentioned that alone feeling, from feeling like I'm always by myself and wanting to find that picture-perfect wife and family one day. Thought that I found that person, and unfortunately, my girlfriend and I at the time were going through a really tough breakup. And so all this at once, I hit this rock bottom where I didn't want to live anymore, and I thought about taking my life. I hate saying this out loud, but every second of every day, and it was really, really hard to survive. And eventually it got to a point where I knew I wouldn't if I didn't ask for help. And so at 28 years old, I went to my mom and I said, "Hey mom, look, you don't know this, no one knows this, but I don't want to live anymore. I wanted to take my life for the last 3 months. I don't know what to do, I need help." And my mom, she was shocked, she was surprised, but she was supportive right away. And that meant a lot. And I just didn't know what I was gonna do, but I knew I had to tell my mom. My parents had been divorced since I was 12 years old, so I called my dad, put him on speakerphone, tell him the same thing. And I would never forget the words that my dad told me. Be a man, toughen up, figure it out, we all go through stuff. I just told my dad that I wanted to kill myself, and his reaction was, be a man, toughen up. It's the worst possible response. My dad said the thing that every young man fears hearing from their father or that father figure in their life. But I always share this story because if people truly love and care about you, they will help you. They might not say the right thing at first, they might not know what to do at first, but if they truly love and care about you, they will help you. And so within an hour, my dad calls me back, he apologizes, and he says, "Look, I didn't say the right thing, I'm sorry. I don't really understand, but how can I help?" And so the next day, my mom and dad and I had a conversation, and luckily, I was able to call my therapist and ask to check into a hospital in Cincinnati for my mental health. And I'd been in therapy for about a year at this point, but obviously wasn't being as open as I needed to be with everything going on in my life. And I needed way more help than what my therapist knew. And so I want to take you through kind of that journey and what that meant and what I learned. Just to put in perspective, I say go to the hospital. This isn't like if you got in a car accident driving down the street or you broke your leg playing basketball here in the gym. That's all physical health. I went to a hospital that's all about mental health and helping people like me that might be struggling with that feeling of being alone or depression, anxiety, thoughts of suicide. So what I want to do is give you kind of an image and teach you some of the things that I learned. For our health professionals in the room and adults, yes, this is a HIPAA violation, but I had permission from the hospital to share these photos because they know that I do this for a living now. Here on the left is just like a check-in badge, obviously. That's what I signed in with every day when I was there for 2 weeks in treatment. On the right is a certificate after my 2-week treatment stay. But this middle picture is what I want to focus on because I would say about 10% of the time you were in therapy one-on-one with your therapist at this hospital. But 90% of the time you were in a room just like that looked very similar to your classrooms here at school, where it was like maybe 15 to 20 people, 18 to 80 years old, every race, color, creed, background, job. We all just had this one thing in common. We didn't want to live anymore and we needed help. And that was the first time that I looked around and realized, dang, I am not the only one that feels like this. That is crazy. And that peer-to-peer class, doing those every day for 2 weeks, 8 hours a day, being with other people that felt like me is what changed and saved my life. And so I want to share some of the things that I took away that really, really helped me and you can use in your everyday life. Number one, it's not rocket science. Mental health is not the hardest thing to understand. We just didn't talk about it until now. Like you saw with only maybe 2 or 3 hands go up by the adults in the room, this is something that no one talked about really until the last 5 years. And so it's not rocket science. You just got to know what you're looking for. And so this is one of the biggest things for me when it comes to warning signs that someone might be struggling or you might be struggling. What to look for. Is someone being themselves? If they are not being themselves, that is the biggest red flag that something might be going on. I had a job that I loved. I got to interview NFL players every day. I was on the sideline. I was on TV doing things that I loved. And all of a sudden, I hated my job. I wasn't being myself. I slept until 1 PM. I wasn't working out. I wasn't eating healthy. I was drinking more. All these things that weren't me, I wasn't doing. And so you can see that in yourself or the people around you. If I'm your friend here at school and I'm always in homeroom and I'm the one that's cracking jokes in the morning or always excited to be here and make you laugh, and all of a sudden I'm not doing those things or I'm not saying the funny things that I normally do, or I get really excited about going to the football game on Friday night and all of a sudden I say I'm not going to the game, something might be wrong. Something probably is wrong. And it's okay to go, hey, Brandon, you're not being yourself. What's up, man? You need someone to talk to? Like, I got you. We can have a conversation. Someone not being themselves is a huge red flag when it comes to mental health. Coping mechanisms, these can obviously be healthy and unhealthy. So coping mechanisms, how you handle a situation, that's what those are. How you react. Again, it can be positive or negative. For me, obviously a negative one was turning to alcohol, and it can be going to any type of substance, something that's going to hurt your mental health. That's not healthy. The healthy ones can be talking to mom and dad, talking to someone here at school, but it can also be things that you just like to do. I'll probably try to work in sometime today before I go to bed. I love going on a walk just out in the sun. I need that for like 20 minutes a day with music. Really helps my mental health, but it can be, breathing exercises. It can be journaling. It can be something that you like to do that is good for your mental health when you're struggling. And then this last one, setting boundaries. We can only handle so much. I know that there's a lot of pressure in the world and there's a lot of pressure on you right now in school. Maybe you're playing sports, you're in the production here on stage, whatever you got going on, you think that you got to balance everything at once. But we can only handle so much. So it's okay to go to a teacher and say, hey, look, Mr. Saho, I'm not a teacher. I don't know why I just said that, but hey, Mr. Saho, I got a lot going on. Like, I got this big project coming up in another class. Can I get one more day on this? Like, teachers are way more understanding now than they were when I was in school. And you can do the same stuff at home. Like, yeah, mom, dad, I want to help you with chores. I got this, I can help it. But I had a really tough day at school. Can I please just have 10 minutes to listen to music or to go outside? We have to set those boundaries for ourselves and be able to help ourselves. And so for me, these are things that I had never heard of before. I didn't know how to take care of myself. I didn't know what mental health was. But after learning this, I realized that 1, I wasn't alone, and that 2, I had this new passion for mental health, what I had just learned. And so I went back to work, and mental health isn't this thing where you go to therapy and right away you're better. Like, it's not like that. You got to work on it constantly. And I feel way better than I did before, but I finally had these tools in my toolbox that I could use in my everyday life. And so when I went back to work, I didn't have that same passion for being a sports reporter. I had this new passion for mental health. And so that's how the Mental Game was born. It's a mental health podcast where I interview athletes, celebrities, influencers, musicians, actresses to try to help break the stigma. Because my hope is that either hearing my story today or one of the stories in the video or the stories we're going to go through right now, someone watching or listening to what I do, they go and say what I said in the hospital. Oh, Brandon struggles too? This movie star struggles just like me. He goes through the same. I'll never forget sitting in Terry Cruz's living room doing that interview and him telling me about him struggling with his own issues with mental health, him battling suicidal thoughts, him going to a hospital just like me. We all go through these things. And so my hope today is that if you are struggling and you've been afraid to speak up or ask for help, please know that it's okay to ask for help, and maybe our stories can help you get to that point. So what I want to do is take you through some of my favorite stories that we've had on the show that I think are super, super relatable. That video in the beginning, I'm assuming most of you did not expect to see rapper Kevin Gates at a school assembly. That is the case at most places that I go to. For the adults in the room, this is not Bill Gates' cousin. This is a musician. I get that question a ton, like, is he related to Bill Gates? Absolutely not, but still a great guy. Kev's story is very similar to mine, and no one really knew. He was suicidal about 5 years ago, struggling, fighting for his life, and he was on tour. So when you're on tour, you're in a different city every single day. You're performing in front of 20,000 people every night. It's supposed to be this amazing thing. But Kev was at like a random gym working out, and he walked out of the gym, and a fan came up to him and said, hey, Kev, I don't know what's going on, but like your social media has been real weird recently. Your tweets have been whack. Whatever you got going on, bro, I just gotta let you know, your music has helped me when I was feeling down, so whatever you're going through, bro, you got this. And Kev looked at that fan and told him basically the same thing that I told my mom. Bro, you don't know this, no one knows this, but like, it's a wrap. I wore my favorite chain, my favorite outfit. I got this pump in at the gym, and I'm taking my life when I get home. That fan sat with him for 10, 15 minutes in that parking lot and fought with Kev on this and pleaded and begged him to ask for help and that it can be okay and that he can feel better again. And thankfully, Kevin did start going to therapy and ask for help. And he said this in our interview, which I will never, ever forget. It's probably my favorite quote when it comes to mental health, but specifically men's mental health. It takes more courage to be vulnerable than it does to be a tough guy. If we could put, pictures next to definitions in the dictionary, that guy, 6'4", rapper, teardrop tattoo, his picture would be right next to tough guy in the dictionary. If he can cry with me before going on stage, having this conversation and open up and talk about us being vulnerable, especially as boys or men, everyone can. You gotta realize that vulnerability, it's not a weakness like what my dad told me, it is a strength, and we have to lean into that and be open and honest with each other about how we're feeling. This next one, anyone fans of The Office in here? I'm a huge Office fan. All right, so about half the gym. Thank you for that. Kate Flannery, who plays Meredith on The Office, that's who got hit by the car in the video that you saw. She's okay, that's just acting. But she's an amazing person. She's an actress on one of the biggest shows in the world. And I asked her to come on the show, and she's like, oh yeah, I'd love to. By the way, no one's ever asked me about my mental health before. I was like, how are you on one of the biggest TV shows and no one's really asked you about your struggle or how you got here, or are you okay? And so her and I were talking about asking for help, whether it's going to therapy, talking to family and friends, trying to understand mental health. And she said, it's really hard to change without outside help. It's like learning another language without truly understanding it. I like to equate this, especially when we're in school, which I was not very good at, I'll be honest. I was a bad student, don't be like me. But if you're in like math class and you're trying to figure out a problem, but you don't know how to solve the problem, you can't figure out the answer, right? Like if you don't know what 2 + 2 is, you don't know it's 4, then you can't figure it out. Same thing with mental health. Everything that I'm saying out loud now, I did not know until 3 years ago when I was in that hospital. So if you don't understand what anxiety is or what depression looks like or how to ask for help, you can't help yourself or the people around you. That's why it's so important to talk about it. And I do want to point out that the answer is different for all of us. So someone might be able to feel better when they go to therapy. Someone might be able to feel better when they just talk to their mom. You just got to find what works for you in those moments when you are struggling. And this last story I'm going to use, obviously I'm a Bengals fan, so I throw a Bengals guy in here, but Chad Ochocinco-Johnson, he's one of the biggest stars in the NFL, or was. Now he's a super popular media personality. And Chad is sober just like me. I don't drink anymore. I haven't drank alcohol in 3 years, or almost 3 years. And he's sober just like me, but for a very different reason. Chad grew up with a single mom in Miami, Florida, in a not so great area of town. And at 5 years old, Chad decided, I'm never gonna drink, I'm never gonna smoke, I'm never gonna do any drugs, because his mom was an alcoholic and he saw how that ruined his mom's life and his relationship with his mom. He doesn't have a relationship with his mom, never did, because of her use. And so he's this big time celebrity now, and you might see him on social media and it looks like he's out at a club partying with all those celebrities. He told me it's like he just got orange juice in like a fancy umbrella straw in his cup. Like he's never drinking alcohol. He doesn't have to fit in to what everyone else is doing. And so him and I were talking about the pressure when it comes to obviously football, but just life in general. And he said, whether we are winning or losing, I just made sure to keep that light and to keep that engine going. I think that's so true when it comes to sports, to school, but also just life in general. It's okay to not be okay and have things go on. We all struggle. We all go through things, but you got to keep that light, keep that engine going, because it can get better. And so, again, the reason why I created this show was to show that everyone struggles and we all go through things. So what I want to do now is show that with you guys. I also want to wake anyone up that might be dozing off a little bit. Don't hit them, just nudge them a little bit. Make sure we're all A-okay awake. What I'm going to do is I'm going to describe some feelings, some emotions, some things that we all go through. And if you agree with me, all I want you to do is stand up. There's no right, there's no wrong answer. It's super, super simple. We'll do this a few times, and I'll explain why after. Are we good on that? Thank you. Are we good on that? All right, now we're awake. All right, let's start simple here. Please stand up if you've ever listened to your favorite song or artist on repeat all day long. Please stand up. You ever listen to your favorite artist or song on repeat? All right, so almost the whole gym. I am very similar to you guys. Go ahead and sit back down. I'm sorry for giving you a heart attack about the camera. I'm walking so much, but who's watching? Is it Scranton? Is that who it is? New England. I just drove through New England, so I know where you guys are at. Thanks for tuning in. You can stand up in your classroom too. All right, next, let's say, please stand up if, every time you watch the same movie or TV show, you just can't stop laughing. It's still the funniest thing you've ever seen. Well, y'all stood up right away. What do you watch? The Office? Okay, right answer. Thank you. All right, go ahead and sit back down. Let's go a little deeper now. Please stand up if you've ever felt nervous before a big test, game, project, something coming up at school. Please stand up. All right. Got a couple Joe Burrows in the room that got ice in their veins. All right, go ahead and sit back down. We only got 24 more of these. Just kidding. We have like 2 or 3. Please stand up if you've ever reached out to a friend or family member when you saw they were having a bad day. You just reached out to ask if they're doing okay, try to do something nice to cheer them up. Awesome. Again, no right, no wrong answer. Go ahead and sit back down. This last question is the most important question I ask everywhere I go, and I'll explain why after. Please stand up if you've ever felt alone while surrounded by people. If you've ever felt alone while surrounded by people, please stand up. Again, no right, no wrong answer. Awesome. Thank you guys for your vulnerability. You can sit down. I have the privilege of doing this all over the country in different places. I'm actually really excited to be here. I've been to now 46 states in the last year and a half. I have 4 more to go. I've been able to do this in basketball arenas, in theaters, at schools, at work. And every time I ask that question, if you ever felt alone while you're surrounded by people, 70 to 75% of the room stands up just like they did today. Doesn't matter if I'm here in North Dakota, or I'm in California, or I'm in Arkansas. Everywhere I go, every person, doesn't matter what job they work, what school they go to, we all struggle. We all go through things. Whether it's something, fun that we go through, like listening to music or laughing, all the way up to feeling nervous, feeling anxiety, depression, and even feeling alone. And so I do that to, one, prove to you guys that we're not alone, but also if you take nothing else away from what we do today, please make it be these next 5 minutes. These next 5 minutes, these winning strategies are what have helped me the most and still help me today with my mental health. All right, so number 1, do something. You have to do something if you're struggling. We already kind of talked about it a little bit, but you have to know that you're not alone. We just proved that. You have to talk to someone about how you're feeling, because when we bottle it up, it makes it a million times worse. I will be very, very honest. My whole life, I didn't open up to anyone. Me telling my mom that I was suicidal that night was the first time I told anyone that I was struggling. I also learned that night that my mom had been going to therapy for 15 years and been on medication for 15 years, but she was too embarrassed to tell me because of the stigma around mental health. And she thought she was alone. You gotta know that you're not alone. And when you feel these things, you gotta reach out for help. And so a lot of times I come to schools and we have conversations about what to do, where to go, who to talk to. I want you guys to know that you do have resources here. I'm gonna ask you guys to talk about this when we get to the end. But I know you have a counselor here, you have a therapist in school at least once a week too. And I want you guys to know about those resources. We'll touch on those here in a little bit. But again, if you see someone struggling, they're not being themselves, please let them know, or let someone that they love or that loves them know. One of the biggest things when it comes to schools, even adults, We get nervous. Hey, if I go behind Brandon's back because I'm worried that he's struggling, that he might be struggling with mental health or suicide, if I go tell his mom, he's going to be mad at me. Or I go tell someone at school, he's going to be mad at me. I might be mad at you for a couple days, a couple weeks, but I'll thank you for the rest of my life. Please, please, please don't be afraid to say something and have that uncomfortable conversation, because unfortunately, if you don't, that person might not be here to have that conversation at all. I'm the mental health guy now, and this is what I do for a living, and I've lost 2 friends to suicide since I started this 3 years ago. If I can lose someone close to me and I'm the mental health mascot, anyone can. So please know you got to do something. You got to ask for help or help the people around you. Number 2, this is the biggest thing for me, helps me every day. Feelings are temporary. Those feelings, they aren't facts. Nothing is the end of the world, and you can be happy again, but you got to do step 1. You got to ask for help. I mentioned, feelings are temporary. Nothing's the end of the world. For me, I thought that feeling at that football game when I was 14 years old, I was always going to feel like that. 3 years ago, that guy on the screen that was crying at night at 2 a.m, struggling, fighting for his life with himself, I thought I was always going to feel like that. And I learned that that time does heal wounds. You can be happy again, but you have to do something about it. So please know these moments that you're going through right now that are tough, they're not going to last forever. Nothing lasts forever. It can be okay again, but you do have to ask for help. And so that's when I want to make sure you guys know what you can do. I did mention this already, but calling a friend, reaching out to someone. I'm going to be very, very honest. Obviously, I know what this school has been through when it comes to, kids struggling with their mental health, people fighting these things that I fought with. And so I want this, again, to be a safe, open space for you to know. If you see something, please say something. Don't take anything as a joke. Make sure you're checking in on your friends. It's okay to say, hey, Brandon, you haven't been yourself. What's going on? Is something wrong with you? I promise I'm here to help. Offer up some vulnerability yourself. Say, hey, man, I know you got a tough, grade on that test last week. I did the same thing. We can study together next time. Little things like that can make a big difference. But I also want you to know, if you're in this room and you feel like you have no one to turn to, that is not true. I know I've been that person that felt I was all alone. I want you to know that you can go to people in this building, all of your teachers, all of your staff members. I know this because we just talked about it in our little meeting before this assembly. They're trained to help you. They understand the things that you're going to ask them about. So if you're too scared, or you don't think mom or dad or a trusted adult are going to, try to help you at home, please use those resources here. When it comes to school, you guys have the most resources than anyone in the world. And I mean that. I travel the country. I talk to people of all ages. School and college, those 2 places have the exact same amount of amazing resources, and please lean on them when you're here in the building. But also, reach out for help. Don't just hold it in. You got to call. You got to talk to someone. Intense exercise. Physical and mental health, super related. Obviously, I am an athlete like all the NFL players that I interview. JK, I played. What sport do you guys think I played in high school? I'm curious. Baseball, tennis, basketball. Okay, we're getting there a little bit. No, I was a kicker in football. I usually get the super short white guy stereotype of soccer, tennis, what you guys just said out loud. But mental and physical health is super, super related. I mentioned, me just going on that walk outside, if I'm having a tough day, I'm doing 3 or 4 different events. I got meetings in the middle of the day. I have emails I got to get to. I just got to step outside. Please do that for yourself. Even if it's just going for a 10-minute walk, going for a jog, a hike, the outdoors, you just got to get out there and move your body. It can help you so much when it comes to your mental health. And then this last thing, I mentioned, slow breathing. There's meditation apps that you can use that, kind of guide 5 to 10 minutes just to start your morning, help you breathe, help you get your body and soul all together at once. I'm not the best at that because I love to talk and be the center of attention, but the athletes that I work with and the musicians, they love meditation, and they just have those apps like the Calm app, and it really helps them calm down when they start their day. And so I just like to give you guys some techniques that you can take away from today when we're talking about going through a tough moment with your mental health. I know you guys have probably heard of this, but I want to make sure I stress it here. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, it's 24/7, it's nationwide. You can call or text at any point, anytime if you're feeling some type of way, and ask for help. And while it is a national hotline that you can use in New York, North, South Dakota, Montana, California, everywhere, it's manned and operated by people in your state and in your community. So when you call that line and you ask questions or you say, I'm struggling, they're going to be able to help connect you with resources in your community or here at school or places that you can go to get help now. Or if you just need someone to talk to, please call them. You got to lean on the resources that you have. I know I want to just point out one more time, these two things are the most important to me. Number one, do something. And number two, feelings are temporary. I want to open it up to questions and make this more interactive now. But before I do that, can we share the resources they have here at school? I don't know who wants to take that responsibility. Anyone at all? If I can let them know. Okay, we're going here. All right, cool. You guys were scared for a second. I'm like, come on, I've been talking long enough. Rock, paper, scissors? I thought you were doing sign language.
So obviously here in the school, you guys have your teachers. You have your teachers throughout the day. All the teachers have been trained in QPR and have been trained in suicide prevention. So even though we may get kind of awkward, we do expect to be able to have these conversations with you. Of course, we have a guidance counselor, Mrs. Olson. Your homeroom teachers, sometimes are teachers you don't have in class, but you meet with them every day. The idea with the homeroom is to kind of build a family within the school a little bit. So those teachers are there for you as well. Of course, in Hettinger, we're lucky to have this beautiful hospital up on the hill. We have West River Health Service personnel that are here to help us. And in the region, we have Badlands Human Services and West River Student Services. You have the Ministerial Association. There's a lot of help in town. The problem is none of us can read your mind. So you have to have the courage to say something first. And then from that point, we can work as a team to try to get things figured out.
Sweet, thank you. Thank you so much. Round of applause real quick for talking about some of our resources. I do that wherever I go because I want to make sure you guys know what's here at home with you. With that being said, I'm going to open it up to questions. You guys are allowed to ask me anything you want. I'm assuming this is the solo mic, yes? Cool. So I will get my steps in and I will work the room. And when I give you the mic, all I want you to do is tell me your name, grade, and then ask a question. This might start off a tiny bit slow and that's okay, but I promise this will be your favorite part because you'll ask me something that could be fun, could be serious, and we'll all learn from it when it comes to mental health. So I'm happy to answer literally any question that you have. Let's see if anyone goes first. Whoa, that was quick. All right. So I'll just hand you the mic. You tell me name, grade, and question.
My name is Max. My fifth grade. What is it like being a NFL
broadcaster? It's really cool. You feel like a player besides, not having any of the money and the muscles and, being on the field. But besides that, it's pretty cool. No, I loved it. It was a dream come true for me. You do got to pinch yourself sometimes. I got really lucky where I got to do, you know how they do the international games in London? I got to broadcast a game on the field at Wembley in London. And so that was really, really cool for me. Man, that was like 8 years ago now. But it's really cool because I grew up being that, I say it's better to be weird than normal. I was that weird kid. And so I was someone that if you watch college football and there's that college game day show in the morning, I'm that weird kid that after watching that would put 2 tables on top of each other in the backyard, hang signs in the trees and jerseys and act like I was Kirk Herbstreit hosting college game day in my backyard or doing stuff like you saw on the screen right there. And so to be able to live that dream out, I'm not just saying that because I'm out of school and I'm trying to inspire you. Whatever it is, I meet people every day that had these dreams and were able to achieve them because they worked really, really hard. And so for me, that was really, really cool and special to do that. What I'll say was the most impactful was when I wasn't on TV and I wasn't in the locker room while I was in treatment. No one knew. The world did not know what was going on. And I put out a letter on social media saying kind of my story that I just told y'all. I struggled with suicide. I had to go into the hospital to get help. And if anyone's out there that's struggling like me, I just want you to know you're not alone. The first person to text me out of family, friends, anyone, was Bengals running back Joe Mixon. Was people that, all these players, I had so many people reach out. But what I'm saying is the stigma, especially being a man and in sports, is that you got to be this tough guy and no one's going to talk about it. And no one did for a lot of my career. But I felt so much love and met so many players and coaches and fans that struggle with the same things that I did, where I was like, wow, this was the right decision for me to open up and to ask for help. But that job was really, really fun. I loved it. If you want to go into sportscasting, it's a fun career, but I will warn you, it can be hard. There's a lot of late nights. You work every weekend. You're at the football games, yes. You're on TV, yes, but it's a lot of hard work that goes into it. But great question to start off with. Thank you. Other questions? Right here? Wow. All right, now we're popping off. Let's go. I'm going to go here and then come back here. How much time do we have for questions, by the way? We good? 15 minutes. All right, we'll see how many we got. Are you nervous? You guys are like getting out of the way. I'm right here. We're good. Can you tell me your name, grade, and question?
Haley, I'm in 6th grade, and do you recommend going to the suicide hotline first or a family member first?
That's a really good question. And the answer is different depending on your situation. If you feel like you can trust someone in your family with that, yes, go to them. I would say 99.9% of the time, go to that trusted adult you have in your life, whether it's mom, dad, someone here at school. But if you are too scared, which is totally understandable, you're too nervous, please call that hotline. Someone will listen, they will help you, and they'll be able to give you tools and resources to help you open up to that family member that might not understand. And you could have very, very supportive family members. You just don't know that, obviously, until you say something. And so please keep that in mind if you're struggling, that someone will listen. That conversation that I had with my dad, I will never forget. I will stay after and meet people one-on-one and take pictures and answer more intimate questions as long as I can. I have met hundreds of people across the country that have got that same response from their dad or someone they love. And half the time it works out like mine, where my dad says sorry and he's very supportive of my mental health now, but there's some times where a parent or a friend doesn't. And that's okay. We got to find people that can help us and that do understand what we're going through. And so yes, going to a parent, someone here at school can be very powerful, but also the same thing about connecting with resources via that hotline or maybe another resource here at school. So the answer again is different for everyone, but please lean. I'm someone that, did you guys like Zoom school? Like, did you like, okay. That was not the answer I was expecting. So maybe some of you did like it. I like everything in person, like me getting to talk to you and meet you and give you high fives and hang out. That's way better. So my personal advice is going up to someone that you love in person and saying, hey, like, I'm really struggling right now. Can I talk to you? And if they're not receptive of it, that's when you can go to someone here at school or call the hotline and they can help you find those resources, if that makes sense. Cool. Thank you. There's a couple more right here, right? Right here? Okay. I'm going to go here. Oh, God, everyone's looking at me. Okay, we'll go here for now. But I know I got to work this room too, right? You guys got questions over here? All right, cool.
Paisley in 6th grade. So if you have like somebody in your class that you and your friends like don't like very much, and you see that they're acting strange, and you tell your friend, they say just leave it alone, what do you do?
It's a very good question. You got someone in your class that might be acting different. You say they're acting strange, and they're like, I mean, look, I wasn't in class. I was an adult when this happened, but people pointed stuff out to me like, hey, why are you late every day to work now? Hey, why aren't you joking around? Why aren't you being yourself? And I was like, I'm fine. I'm good. Like, most people are covering up when they say something like that. And so in that situation, if that person isn't going to open up to you, that's when you can go kind of down the route that I mentioned of going to that trusted adult here at school, whether it's your homeroom teacher, the counselor, talking to someone else in this building and a trusted adult, because there's a very, very sad thing with mental health, and it's just, I'm going to be very open and honest about it. If the person in the mirror doesn't want to make that change, that person that's struggling, it's never going to happen. Like I mentioned, I've lost 2 friends to suicide since I started this. I can pull up messages from Mike on Instagram of us going back and forth and him telling me about how he loves what I'm doing. Hey, can we grab lunch soon? I'm like, yeah, absolutely, man. Next time I'm in town, I got you. I asked him a couple times. He never gave me a time. And I'll never forget Sean, my other friend, calling me about a week later and saying, hey man, Mike's gone. And it broke me. And it really, really hurt because I thought I was doing enough and I was trying my best to be there for him. But if the person in the mirror doesn't want to make that change, it's never going to happen. And so that's why I say, who cares if that person gets mad at you? Who cares if they tell you to shut up? Like, you could end up saving their life by going to mom, dad, someone here at school and saying, hey, they're acting strange. They're not being themselves. I'm gonna go a little bit off script here just because we're talking about it and we're in a school. It's gonna take me a second to go back to this picture of me in high school. But you mentioned about people being there for you or not knowing what to do, what to say. This is really the first slide. I'm so sorry. Okay, so this picture right here. So this is again me in high school. This is one of my best friends, Dexter, right behind me. And I mentioned that picture getting sent around. And it was very, very embarrassing, and it was huge, and it was the hardest bullying I've ever been through in my life. I learned about 10 years later that Dexter started taking people's phone for the next 2 weeks and was deleting them off individual people's phones. He tried to help me as much as he could, and the script flipped a little bit where he struggled with some substance abuse and mental health, and we lost him about 5 years ago during COVID. And his last tweet was, I know I messed up in life, but I wish my homies checked in on me more. That breaks my heart to this day. It's tough to think about, every time I do this presentation. I just started sharing this story maybe 2 weeks ago, because every time I do this, I see Dexter right behind me in that photo. And I wish I could have been there for him like he was there for me in school. This is a long, long answer to your question, but please don't be afraid to speak up if someone is struggling. That person in the mirror has to want to make that change. That person wants to have to ask for help. But if they tell you to shut up or to go away or to leave them alone, don't give up on them. Go to that mom, dad, trusted adult, someone here at school, and let them know you're worried about them, because that might end up and could end up saving their life. Again, sorry, that's a really long answer. It's just, this stuff's personal to me. It makes me emotional sometimes thinking about, Dexter or Mike or, the last guy I lost to suicide. He was an offensive lineman for the New York Giants that I went to college with. This is a guy that played in the NFL, had millions of dollars. I have a message from a week before he passed talking about our mental health. It's very, very real. So if you see something, please say something, and don't be afraid to ask someone for help. I'm going to take this photo off the screen just because I'm an ugly kid and I don't feel like looking at my face anymore. But thank you for asking that. It's a very important one. I promise I'm going to come back to you guys. I just want to make sure I work this side of the room too, because we only got 7-8 minutes left. I'll come back to you too, I promise. Anyone on this side? All right. In the first, then I'll come up top. All right, give me your name, grade, and question.
Mohammed Khan, 8th grade. I was going to ask, what is your favorite NFL team?
Favorite NFL team, the Cincinnati Bengals, who don't win anything, and Joe Burrow is hurt for the rest of the year. So it's been very, very sad. Not good for my mental health to start the football season. But yeah, no, I'm someone that's I love my teams. Favorite baseball team, the Cincinnati Reds. They've never won anything either. Last week they played the Dodgers in the playoffs. I live in LA, and I went there and sat with all the Dodgers fans making fun of me the whole time while we lost. But hey, I love my favorite teams. So, right here? Cool. Now we're getting some steps in. Name, grade, and question.
Matthew, 9th grade. If you notice that you're also not acting like yourself, what would you do then?
I think some of the same things apply. People saw stuff in me, but I saw the most out of myself. I lost interest in the things that I love to do, like my job or working out, hanging out with my friends. And so those same things of asking for help and going to that trusted adult apply when you're feeling it yourself, because kind of going back to what I ended with right there, if the person in the mirror doesn't want to make that change, it's never going to happen. And so the most courageous thing that you can do is ask for help. I'm not just talking about you one-on-one, I'm talking about everyone in this room. But if you are struggling and you see that in yourself, you can notice those things and you can ask for help. So the same things sort of apply, whether it's going to mom, dad, a trusted adult, someone here at school, calling the hotline, just again, getting it out. You can't bottle it up. It makes it a million times worse. You have to get it out. You got to talk to someone. And I can tell you this from touring the country and being in schools and workplaces and everywhere in between, what we're doing right now, peer to peer, having a conversation, this is sometimes the most effective way to help each other. So offering up some vulnerability to your friend or someone, a trusted adult, and going, hey, can I talk to you real quick? I'm just kind of feeling off. I almost guarantee that they will say that they can relate to what you're talking about. So just opening up to someone, that can start that conversation. But kind of the same things apply if it's for yourself or someone around you, but you got to be the one to say something if you notice that you're not being yourself. Thank you so much for asking that question, by the way. All right, other questions on this side, and then I'll go back to this one. We've got a quiet side over here. What is this like by grade or school, or what is this? Mixed? Okay. We have 2 schools here though, right? Who's Scranton? Is that here? Oh, you guys really are just like everywhere. Okay, cool. Scranton, unfortunately not the Scranton from The Office, but still Scranton's cool. I like Scranton. I've been to Scranton where The Office was at. None of the stuff was actually there, but it's cool. Other questions? I'm gonna work my way back to this side of the room, all right?
Emily, 10th grade. After losing 2 people close to you, how did you deal with grief so early?
Losing 2 people, how did I deal with grief so early? There's like a 2-part answer to this. This is what I do for a living now. Like I talk about my struggles and other people's struggles. So kind of like how maybe a doctor or a police officer gets used to some of the things that they see. Sometimes I get used to talking about some of this stuff, but like you just saw, it still hits me. Grief's tough. It's, I wouldn't say I handled it quickly. I maybe just had some tools that I didn't have before when I was going through other grief. And so that's why I'm so passionate about having these conversations and sharing these coping mechanisms and techniques, because you never know when you're gonna need them and when you might lose someone or might feel alone yourself. And so, yeah, losing 2 friends was really, really tough, especially, like I said, being kind of the mental health guy now. But what I did right after is I got on, a call with our buddies and said, hey, I'm here to talk if you guys need to talk. I'm here to listen if you need someone to listen. I go back to the stuff with my dad. My dad and I check in with each other every single day and ask how we're doing. We never did that before. So you pick up things that can help you throughout your life in those moments of crisis or when other things come back up. But yeah, you just gotta realize these things and have those tools to use. Because again, mental health, it's not something that you win. It's something that you always gotta battle. And while right now I feel really, really good, you never know when you're gonna have a bad day or have a tough moment. So just having those tools is really, really important. Thank you, by the way, for working the camera. All right, I'm gonna go right here because you got the best hair in the room. No, I'm kidding, I'm not gonna throw it. Can we pass this back, please? Thank you.
All right, Tyson, I'm a senior. I'm wondering, so you being like a sports broadcaster, being close to like the biggest players in the industry, have you met the GOAT, Larry Bird?
I have not, but I'll answer. Don't throw it, please. I have not met Larry Bird. I will go ahead and piggyback off this question because I know it's going to follow. Who's your favorite guest? Who's the most famous people you've met? So on and so forth. Not in this job, but the top 2 people I've probably interviewed would be Shaquille O'Neal or Serena Williams. So that's pretty cool to do as your job. Shaq is also like as tall as his ceiling. So I was like this interviewing him. Most famous person I've met. This is a quick life lesson on why to always ask questions. I was working at a Chipotle as a manager in college, cooking food, making burritos, and I saw this fancy bus pull up. And so I asked the guy who was sitting there what he was there for, what is he doing? And he's like, oh, you know, we're on tour with a musician. I'm his videographer. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. I get into videography. I want to do that one day. Who is it? This is 2012, keep in mind. But he goes, he's this kid named Kendrick Lamar. And I was like, oh yeah, I know who that is. And this is like a year or two into his career, so it wasn't like it is now. And I'm like, hey, if I can help you guys while you're in town at all, let me know. Long story short, Chris, his videographer, invited me to come watch them, you know, edit some videos on the tour bus. I brought them Chipotle, and then I got to like be on stage, backstage, and watch Kendrick's whole show, and then hang out with them afterwards. I say that not to say, hey, I'm cool, I got to meet Kendrick Lamar. I'm saying you don't know unless you ask. So go after those opportunities. Those are really, really special. The same thing with here, like Terry Crews, I didn't know him before this. He commented on my Instagram, and that's how I got him on the show. So again, it is just people using those opportunities that are in front of them. I also get like dream guests. There's some GOATs on there for me. I went to college at the exact same time as Travis Kelce at Cincinnati. I thought there'd be a good chance of getting him on last year, but then he started like dating, I guess, or something, so he got busy. So that was kind of tough. But yeah, I'd love to have him on, President Obama, Taylor Swift, one of the Justins, Bieber, Timberlake. Those are kind of the upper echelon of guests. Again, you don't know unless you ask. So everyone that I just named, I've reached and got a no, but it's just a no for now. So I don't know, just go after stuff, take chances. All right, got one here, and then we got like what, 2 or 3 questions left probably? All right. You want to pick the last 2 so I don't disappoint anyone? Oh, he doesn't want to do it. And I'm gonna have to be the bad guy. Right here?
Damien, 5th grade. Me and my friends were wondering if we could get your autograph.
Yes, I will do that afterwards. We'll kind of hang out back here. I'm sorry. I'll take pictures, do anything you guys want. Promise, I got you. All right, that was very enthusiastic. And that's a new hand. So if we can do this relay race with the microphone, that would be great.
My name's Sunny, 10th grade. What's your favorite Kevin Gates song?
He's got this song, whoa, geez, sorry, I didn't realize how loud that was. He's got this song called Walls Talking, which is about him like sitting there and hearing it's about mental health, honestly, but it's about him like hearing kind of like his walls describe his life and his struggles to him while he's sitting in a chair in his house. That's probably my favorite Kevin Gates song. There's obviously 2 Phones, Really Real. He's got some other songs that I probably can't say at school, but yeah, I like Kev's music. What's really special about Kev is that he's probably the most passionate person I've ever met about mental health. And again, judging a book by its cover, you would think that he doesn't care at all and he's this tough guy. I've been to so many concerts in my life. In between every song or every couple songs, he stops the music and goes, you know, for all my fellas in the room, like, we got to be honest, we got to talk about how we're feeling, and then he'll talk to the young people, then he'll talk to the women in the room about their, like, I've never seen someone in front of 20,000 people talk about their mental health throughout their entire set and try to talk to, you know, the white kids, the black kids, the women, the men, it's really, really cool how passionate he is. Like, this stuff isn't fake to him. I don't know, just a really cool guy. But I also love how people probably were surprised to see him in this presentation. All right, I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna get you next, okay? And then someone has to take the mic away, because I'm not doing this. They want to ask me a million questions.
My name is Paxton. I'm in the 6th grade. Are the Bengals the only team you've interviewed and stuff?
No, so I got the chance. So the Bengals, I worked for NBC covering the Bengals for 5 seasons, but I also covered, before that, I was in Louisiana covering the New Orleans Saints, so like Drew Brees, Mark Ingram. I was at LSU before Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I've worked and covered a bunch of different games. What's really cool about the job I do now is you never know who I'm going to meet. Did I hear someone cheering for the Eagles when we talked that in the beginning? Okay, Eagles fans. So if you guys know who Zach Bond is, the linebacker for the Eagles, he's their team captain, leading tackler last year. That's next week's guest. I was just in Philly 3 days ago interviewing him. So you guys got the scoop. So what's cool is I get to interview people from different jobs, different teams now instead of just one team, which I like really like a lot. You had one, right?
Maddie, 6th grade. Have you met Dwayne Johnson?
I have not met The Rock, but that's probably another one on my Mount Rushmore of like dream guest. Really cool guy, super open about his mental health, would love to. All right, last question. Oh, God. Where's our, oh God, I hate doing this. I'm gonna hang out, I'll take pictures. I'm gonna go in the green right here. You had your hand up the whole time, I know that, so here we go.
Riker, 5th grade. What was your hardest part of the suicide journey?
Wow, that's a great question. I mean that. What was the hardest part of your suicide journey? I want to make sure I answer this right. That is a great question. No offense to everyone else, but that's the perfect question to end on. I think the hardest part was having the courage to ask for help. Knowing that, like what people didn't see, like after this, you can go on social media, like my whole life story's on the internet. So I tell and picture the things that I've been through. And so the fact that, God, every night I would walk home and be sad and not want to be here anymore. And the thing that kept me here was the thought of my mom losing a child, if I'm being honest. I knew that would probably literally, not figuratively, kill my mom. And so my mom's the reason why I held on. We have a great relationship now to this day. That's hard for her to hear me say out loud. But yeah, I think the hardest part was asking for help and telling her and going through all the tough stuff. This is, it'd be like you guys not going, like I didn't go to work for 3 weeks. I was in a hospital for 3 weeks, just all focused on my mental health. That was so hard for me. I was depressed about being depressed and being in a hospital. So I think the hardest part was asking for help and getting that help. But what's beautiful about mental health, or really anything you do in life, whether it's school, physical health, mental health, work, whatever, once you see stuff start working, you want to keep doing it. Like when I started going to therapy and I realized that I started to feel better, I want to keep doing this. When I stopped drinking alcohol and I realized how much my life was better, I want to keep doing this. Just like when you go to the gym and you start to see that you're getting a little bit more muscle. Obviously, I don't have any, but like when people go to the gym, they gain some muscle. But you study hard for a test and you get a good grade on the test. Like when you see stuff start working, you want to keep doing it. And so mental health for me, that's the best part of it. The hardest part, I hope, is behind me, but you never know. And so you got to keep pushing forward and having those tools in your toolbox. But yeah, asking for help is the hardest part. So I'll end on that. Once you ask for help, I promise you, your life will get easier. But that is the hardest thing to do. So please don't be afraid to ask for help. Great question to end on. Thank you guys so much. This was awesome. You guys were great. I don't know who I'm handing the mic to. I look like Anchorman right now, doing this. Or no, that's the wrong Will Ferrell movie. What is it? Talladega Nights. I don't know what to do with my hands. Am I able to hang out and take pictures and answer questions for a few? Where's the best spot to do that, to tell them? I'll have you figure this out because you look important again. I don't know what we're doing after this, but thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Brandon. If there's anybody that wants to stick around and talk to Brandon, we'll set up a spot over here at 10:15. We have grades 5, 6, and 7 going to the AV room. He will be down there maybe a little bit later. It is 10:15 already. I want to thank Scranton for coming over again, New England for live streaming. This was a very good presentation. We want to thank again West River Health Services for helping team up with us to make this happen. Thank you all for being great listeners, and hopefully you learned something today. Thank you.
And most importantly, special messages from our local sponsors who play a vital role in supporting this program.
A better way of life is better days off and better nights in. Better hellos and better goodbyes. With locally approved, financed, and serviced home loans, Gate City Bank makes buying a home simple. Welcome home. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life.
Here at Kennedy's, we provide groceries and fresh food ranging from fruit and vegetables, deli cut meat, snacks from our bakery, and anything else necessary to